Welcome to the Vibrant Living Network. Have you ever wondered what is possible beyond possible? What is the thing you've been wondering and inquiring about? Are you just feeling stuck and don't know why? Are you thinking or are you seeing? Seeing allows us to expand and have this other experience. We want to invite you for that wake-up call. We want to invite your spirit, your soul, so to be more alive, more connected. Glenn Brooks has been a life coach for over 33 years, author of Divorced to Patterns, Not Each Other, an explorer of what is possible. He has worked with people all around the world. Join us for a wake-up conversation, a dialogue with you. We will have some of the most interesting contributors. We will be talking to some of the most interesting people and have some of the most resourceful teachers, wisdom-filled people from around the world join us. Share your voice, ask the questions, become free of the known into a new world of possibility. We are going to talk about all the things you wonder about: how to live, how to heal, how to connect, how to love, how to be seen. Your life is precious. Enjoy it.
I want to welcome you guys. It's Glenn Brooks. The last week I've been working, inventing, being in ceremony nonstop with Dr. Randall. Dr. Randall. She's probably one of the first pioneers in integral health in the United States. She's from UCLA. I want to share with you guys something profound. As I welcome you to Vibrant Dogs with Cherie Marquez, and this is going to be a wonderful exploration today. I want you to share something that's magical, like dogs. Because, you know, the beautiful thing about dogs is, and I want to welcome Lisa LaRose, Janet Carafa, and Janet right now is live from Kauai. I want to welcome all the people in Kauai, and welcome Vibrant Kauai, our new show. Welcome, Janet. Welcome, Lisa.
Aloha.
Cherie.
Aloha.
I love that. Lisa, you there?
Aloha.
Yeah, aloha.
Okay,
Hi, Lisa.
aloha. There you go.
Hi.
There you go.
I may call back in because I keep losing sound a little bit, and I don't want to miss anything. So I'm going to call back in just a second.
All right.
So I'll just step out for a minute, okay?
I've had family members do that to me. I'm glad you're calling back in. In fact, I'm glad you're calling back in. All right. So the other day, I want to share with you guys something that is going to set the tone and energy and feel for our dog segment, Vibrant Dogs. And I have some new dog stories. And Cherie is our resident dog mystic. We were just having a conversation about doing a dog retreat in Kauai. The dog mystic Cherie will be there. Okay, here's my story of the day. And what I want to ask you about, and I think the wonder of dogs is dogs often see us. You know, they don't judge us. And that's one of their medicines. So I go to the chiropractor yesterday. I don't really know this chiropractor well, but we had a very profound first meeting. And I'm going to share more about this next week with Dr. Gail Randall and welcome our LA Vibrant Marketplace. We're going to do a lot in LA. All right, here's the story. So it's a quick story. So a couple of weeks ago, I met this new chiropractor, and I was going through something, and I mentioned my eye. And he says, you know, Glenn, he goes, a few weeks ago, he had a challenge at one of his eyes. And it turned out he had a full blockage at one of his arteries in his eye. And within hours, it was said that he could possibly lose his sight. So all of a sudden, he travels to New York to see a retina specialist. And it looked like a boulder in the artery. And he said the boulder went to rocks, and the rocks disappeared. It totally disappeared. So he was kind of saying it was a miraculous thing. He called it really good luck. So I went back to see him yesterday because we really bonded. I was near tears when he told me the story because he actually didn't have seeing out of his other eye. He would have lost his sight. So he went from having this boulder to rocks, and the rocks disappeared. So yesterday he says to me, she says, you know, Glenn, he goes, I couldn't have done it without the retina therapist, and he goes, he was just like you. I said, really? I go, tell me. He goes, he's loud. He sings songs in the hallways. He's always telling jokes. And when he walked in the room, he goes, I felt confident I was going to heal. He goes, this guy walked in the room, and he goes, I was underneath Madison Square Garden. He told me he was petrified. And this guy walked in, and he's, singing and whistling, and he looked at him, and he says, we're going to get through this. And I looked at this picture, and I was like, oh, my God, yes, I totally catch who this guy. I see who he is. Because, I get kicked out of buildings. People ask me to leave meetings. I went to a party once in Boston. I remember the party. It was with Dr. Luke DeShepper, pretty renowned homeopath. And I was hanging out. We were having some amazing conversations. And the hostess, before I left, she says, go bye to everybody. They get hugged. She whispers in my ear. She goes, and you're not welcome to come back here. And Luke says to me, I'm psyched to see you again. He was the party guy. So dogs and seeing, dogs and wonder. So I'm tying all these things together. The wonder of seeing. So being a dog mystic, Cherie sees your dog. She sees your dog and gets a sense of how you guys can have this harmonious connection, right? That's a wonder. So what Lisa wrote up today, or what the writer for this show is, on our Vibrant Dog segment is, I initially called it the strangest thing about your dog. What's the strangest thing about your dog? Lisa changed it to what's the hidden thing about your dog. What is the hidden thing about your dog? And that's what we're going to get into today. Welcome, Cherie.
Hello. Good afternoon.
You sounded so good. You should keep saying aloha the rest of your life. You are such a good aloha. I mean, really, you're like right up there with the better aloha people.
Aloha.
Yeah, there you go. There you go. That's really good stuff.
Thank you.
So, all right, I'll start with a quick story. So I used to have this producer, and he comes to the station, and he tells stories about his Irish Wolfhound. And I swear, I just love the Irish Wolfhound. When people tell me about their dogs, and sometimes they'll even say to me, you got to meet so-and-so. So here's the thing. I already feel this nonverbal connection to dogs even before I meet them. Share with us how you became, and you tell me every time, you love being the dog mystic. Before we get into the strangest or hidden things about your dog, share with people how you became the dog mystic.
Just by a natural connection with the dog. So it was just about learning about dog behavior and their language, their bodies, and just having that full-on connection with the dogs, even if I have just met them. So and more or less by keeping calm around the dogs, then they're picking up on my calmness, because all dogs have a sixth sense. They know exactly what's going on, and they know exactly what people are feeling. So they know when you're in a bad mood. They know when to try and help and make you feel better as much as possible. So,
but
what?
I just wanted to acknowledge that Janet came up with like a dog anthropology thesis last week that was so profound. I did want to acknowledge that. Out of the blue, Janet just came up with such beautiful stuff last week. I did want to acknowledge that because it was so beautiful. It was like, bang. I was like, wow. It was like Janet had been on Jeopardy like 6 months and didn't lose the dog round ever. She was amazing last week. I want to acknowledge that. Yeah. She'd won like $6 million.
Exactly
I don't know what she did.
Exactly what she said in regards to my calmness is,
yes.
My calmness and my breathing is just like doing yoga, because you have to, like, the yoga gets you into that calm state of mind, and you're focusing on your breathing, where in everyday life we forget about focusing on deep breathing or breathing to calm us down, So it is correlated, which is a beautiful thing. So
yes, I agree. Yeah. This theme, this is Janet. Aloha, everybody. And I love this theme. So the wonder of the secret of the dog, or what was it?
Well, there's two titles. You could pick a title today. You could pick what's the strangest secret about your dog? What's the strangest secret? Now, Lisa had a bent that strange was a strange word, and then Lisa liked hidden. Now, hidden is a big part. I teach people the hidden power so they could get up on stage. So I said hidden's great. So you could go with hidden, Janet, which would be A, or B, strangest secret.
Yes, the hidden is good. It's all good. But yeah. So basically, what I've discovered, you know, and all these the hidden secrets of the spiritual, you know, meditation or this one or that one, and you know, we're opening up the hidden secrets of the world that have been hidden under the pyramids and this and that. And what I've discovered is really and truly there are no secrets. Just what Cherie said, because you're actually, it's just a matter of, you know, the dog, what she's saying, the dog has that sixth sense. It's more pronounced in the dog because that's how that they're living in that sensory awareness, and it's expanded, of course, with them, and they hear differently, they see differently, they sense the emotions maybe differently or more. And the thing is, we do too. So, like, if you're in New York City, say, and you're going down the street, this busy street, and it's all these New Yorkers, and they're passing each other, and everyone's not looking at each other, because if they did, they would be exhausted, basically, because that's why you don't relate to each other that much. But you are in that sixth sense, or maybe it's the ninth sense or the 20/100th sense, I don't know. But you're sensing as you're passing each other, you're not hitting each other. You're crossing in and out. You're moving through space. You're sensing each other, and then you can sense if someone is off kilter and maybe a little dangerous. And so you walk to the other side of the street and you go down there. Now, they didn't tell you that. Nobody told you that. It's the sixth sense you're talking about. And we all have it. So it's where you focus. And just as Cherie has focused in and been able to embrace the dogs, and the dogs embrace her, and so now she's a beautiful expert that we can learn from, because she has that experience and expansion. So that's my take on that little bit.
All right. Thank you deeply, Janet. So the first idea of the strangest secret, or what's the hidden thing you don't know about your dog is your dog. Okay, Cherie, this is going to be your opportunity here. Your dog is totally telepathic with you. So, and one of the people that was going to be on the show today, Tony, is a chemist. And Tony, because some dogs need a mission. So every day, his Malinois, Belgian Malinois, looks like a shepherd. He says he gives the dog all these missions when they get up in the morning. He says, and he does this from his bed, and he says, by the way, meet me at the front door in 15 minutes, and the Malinois is there. So he says that they're so telepathic. So let's talk about that, because a lot of people don't acknowledge they're in this telepathic relationship with their dog. Some people do. I think a lot more people. So as the mystic who you said to me once, you get to the location where no one can relate to the dog in the house, and you walk, and the dog comes back, walks up to you and say, "What's up, Cherie?" And you get a hug and get slapped 5. What's different about you? What are you reading?
Well, it is all dogs have, all of their senses are so much more amplified than ours. So they can hear better, they can smell better, they can see better, they can feel better. So they're automatically in tune, more in tune than we are. So now it's more or less just allowing our body and our senses to become as in tune with the dogs as they are with us. And I mean, there's plenty. Honestly, if I took the opportunity to live in people's homes, because they offer me, as I walk into the door, they're like, all right, my dog never acts this way, so we have an extra room. Do you want to come live with us? So if I took that opportunity, I swear
That's great.
I have a different house to live in every single week, which is fabulous. Only because my presence, or whether it be my presence, my calmness, my I guess my knowledge of what I'm doing and my confidence shows as soon as I walk into the door. So then the dog just automatically respects me. Plus, away with their owners and how much they can push their buttons. So that's the beautiful thing about being the dog mystic, is just teaching people all around the world how to be in tune with your dog. So there's peace at home, and you have an amazing relationship and bond with your dog.
I was able to get a transcript, Cherie, and you didn't know this, but I got a transcript. They were able to translate things dogs might say when you walked in the house. Did you see the transcript that I sent you this morning?
No.
Okay.
But
all right. This is.
I'm sure it was perfect.
All right. Okay. So this is Bud Goldstein. It's a Jewish dog, golden retriever in the Fort Lauderdale area. He says, "Yeah, Jewish dog in the area. Yeah, he was a Jewish star, actually." All right. We'll continue with Vibrant Living. With Cherie Marquez. Yeah, exactly. And Janet, I'm sorry, Cherie's a proponent of all religions and nationalities and religious groups that are represented in the dog world. Along with Lisa LaRose, I'm Glenn Brooks. She likes freshness. Stay with us. I'll share what the dog said about Cherie when she came in the homes in a moment.
The Real Conscious Connection. OMTimes Radio. IOM FM. Host your show on IOM FM, the radio network of OMTimes Media, one of the more recognized brand names in the conscious community, and is backed by the extensive marketing reach of OMTimes. Hosting a show on IOM FM immediately connects you with our extensive dedicated community.
Conflict comes in many forms and often triggers a fight-or-flight response. Some of us gravitate toward conflict, while many will stop at little to nothing to avoid it. Unfortunately, what we resist will persist, which often forces us to face our fear and deal with it head-on. Join me during my show, Conflict Rising, as I discuss the important role of conflict with leaders who have moved through it successfully. Tune in Thursdays at 3 o'clock p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Remember, it's always darkest before the dawn.
Opiates has taken everything and everyone I've ever loved away from me. Everything.
I blew my ankle out and I got prescribed pain pills by my doctor.
If making my detox public is going to help somebody, I'm all for it. I just wish I would have had a warning.
Opioid dependence can happen after just 5 days. Know the truth, spread the truth. A message from Truth, the Ad Council, and ONDCP.
Hello, I'm Glenn Brooks, listening to Vibrant Dogs on the Vibrant Living Network. Cherie Marquez, our dog mystic, our regular dog mystic. Janet Carafa, master mime, yoga master. Generally fun person to hang out with. I perform mime with Janet. Lisa LaRose, who at last time we'd spoken was trapped in a parking lot and managed to maneuver around and join us again. She's here. Okay, so what I did was, this is a really cool thing. So when Cherie went into several homes in the Fort Lauderdale area, we were able to, through some high scientific technology, able to speak, basically translate what the dog said. So as an example, and I mentioned the dogs happen to be Jewish, but that's okay. She works with all kinds of religions and nationalities and colors. That's what she does, because she's a mystic. All right, so Stanley and looks like Janet Goldstein, a couple of Jewish dogs, happen to be Jewish, could have been Muslim, said, this is what they said, they were eating a ham on the table, by the way, when the owners were up in the bedroom. They were eating it. And when Cherie Marquez walked into the house, they said, I feel something. Something's different in the house. and it was felt by the dogs and communicated. They said, "Hey, there's a dog whisperer in here. We better behave differently." So I wanted to ask you, because a lot of times I think the game is what it looks like to the owners, that the dogs are doing things totally disconnected, off on their own planet. But you wouldn't say that. You would say, in fact, that a lot of stuff is being orchestrated telepathically, non-verbally, and in some sense we're setting the dogs up, as the title says so well. It's called Crazy Dogs, Crazy People. So we're kind of setting the dogs up to do things sometimes that we don't even know we're cueing them. But when you show up, obviously you're not sending them these same signals because they don't have to go crazy. So they can kind of be around you in a different way. That's what all these dogs seemed. The consensus when you walked in, they kind of felt they could be at home and be a dog. That's we have over 60 testimonials from the dogs themselves, of all denominations, Perfect. By the way, not just Jewish dogs.
Perfect. I love it.
Yeah, I love Janice's laughter, so sorry, I just smoked that. Please.
You're a comedian today.
Yeah, well, I released about a ton of anxiety. I've been in ceremony the last week, and you guys are going to meet her with Dr. Gail Randall. And I've been in ceremony, and I removed all the low-level devils. We did a lot of uncursing. So a cursing is when someone says something to you that's not you. So I'm feeling better today. That's why you're getting all the humor. That's the other end. The other end. Good. All right, dog mystic, Cherie Marquez. Are what these dogs saying about you true? Is that what happens when you walk in? What's different? You walk in. Someone said something really naughty about these dogs, right? And they call you up. They go, Cherie, the dog won't let me enter my bedroom. The dog is, half killing the cat at night. Whatever. What kind of call? Give us an example. What might they say to you before you put the mystical, symbol on your car and drive through the neighborhood? What do they say to you, the owners?
The owners. All right. Well,
Oh, them. I love it. Oh, them. They don't really matter, but yeah, okay. They write me the checks. I know they are. Okay.
So typical is the dog is chewing on everything and jumping on all of us, and knocking over my kids and running all over the couches. So they're just they have control all over the house, and we don't know how to handle it. So. Yeah. So when I walk in the house, then the dogs are not on the leash, and of course, if the dogs have a habit of jumping up, then that's just natural. That's just a natural way of greeting. So I walk in, they start jumping up, and but then, once I'm fully inside the house and get the dogs to stop jumping up, then the dogs are calmer than normal. So in that situation, then the owners just say to me, what have you done to my dog? Because this is not the way that my dog acts at all. So. So I guess the dog is just feeding off of my calm, assertive energy, and knowing that they can't get away with certain things that they can get away with their owners. So
I think
the thing that you got to realize is
yes,
a dog's mind and
yeah.
a child's mind are almost exactly the same. So, I keep on saying, and I keep on repeating this, but if a dog knows that they can get away with something, they're going to push it for everything that they can. It's like a 2-year-old, that is just nagging their parents or an adult, I'm getting on your nerves, so I'm just going to keep on doing it until he totally explodes. So they are the same way. They have the same mentality. So they're
all right.
Extremely intelligent.
This is This is Bob. Bob's a St. Bernard and lives in Boca Raton. It took me a few days to get used to Cherie, but she surely is a dog mystic. I stopped peeing on the bedroom floor after 2 visits. Thank you. I have a better relationship with my owners. What would you say about Bob's quote, for instance? What happened with Bob?
That's just teaching the owners what to do
Yes.
with a housebreaking schedule.
Okay.
To get their dog on a
schedule.
housebreaking schedule for the amount of water and food to give the dogs, and the amount of time to take the dogs out. But water is extremely important for the puppies because their bladders are small. So if you keep the water down at all times, then of course they're going to be peeing all over the place. So it's not depriving them of the water. It's just giving them water at different times.
We're going to be doing a retreat. Go ahead. I'm sorry. I got inspired about the retreat, and I just was. We're going to give out your website in a minute too, Cherie, and.
I just wanted to give a little pointer.
Please.
A little pointer, and it is on my website. So for every 10 pounds, you give 1 cup of water. So we're not depriving them of any water whatsoever, but we're not keeping the water down at all times. So then they can drink and pee and drink and pee and drink and pee. So you can take a look at my housebreaking page on smartpawsdogtraining.com.
All right.
Wow. This is Janet, and I just would like to say one thing, and then I'll have to aloha off. But that is so brilliant. How simple, how clear, how logical, how it makes perfect sense. Not to give them too much water, otherwise they're gonna pee. So then you take them out, have a pee outside. Then you give them water before you're just about to go out, or whatever timing. The timing is right. Oh my God! See, there are no secrets. That's what I was just saying. Yeah. So, anyways, aloha, everybody.
Aloha, Janet.
Aloha, Janet.
Aloha.
Okay. And I can't
I want to thank all our vibrant family in Kauai with Janet Karafa. Thank you, Janet. Love you, Janet. Thank you.
Bye.
Yeah. All right, I'm going to read this near, and Lisa might have heard this one. This is a really good one. We're speaking within our regular segment, Vibrant Dogs with Dog Mystic, Cherie Marquez, who's going to be giving talks, and we're soon letting you know about a very unique membership site she'll be having where that will help you bring this wisdom, this mystical, practical wisdom to your home. All right, Cherie, I don't know if you saw this letter. It came in today's email. This is from Jamie. She's a Cocker Spaniel, I believe, in it says Broward County. I'm not sure where she's in. She just says, "What's up with the dreadlocks? Is that symbolic of you being a dog mystic?" And I think that's a legitimate question. Cherie?
No, I mean it's just my style. It's my style.
Oh, okay. Okay.
So.
Okay. I thought it was a good question.
Glenn's
just
question. Jealous, Cherie. He wants to.
It's sort of a little true, perhaps.
Work on that a little bit.
Yeah.
Right. You've been working on it.
Yeah. All right. So, the hidden secret about your dog is that your dog wants you to do things to help the dog feel at home and to relax. And it helps when you, like a practical tip, which Janet just acknowledged, like the water thing. A lot of people, so sometimes I guess we do things because we don't know how it might impact our dog. And then we'll wonder why other things happen. Is that a common thing, that we're doing things that might not help the dog be the dog, so to speak?
Yes, we are. Well, I mean, people just don't know exactly what to do, or they possibly might be making things more difficult than it really needs to be. So.
Yeah.
So I walked yesterday with a bulldog and the owner. I kind of like the bulldog, but I want to answer this. So I go to the dog trail just about every day, and I meet a lot of dogs. And tell me when you meet another dog that you haven't met before, and oftentimes I want to have a good social exchange. I really like to connect with a lot of dogs. Are there any I think there's some confusion sometimes on the dog trail, and there's a small amount of incidents. For the most part, it's pretty harmonious. So this is a leash-free dog trail, and it's pretty wondrous. So I go there every day, and as I speak to you, we will be live at the Easton Exposition Center for the 7-day dog show, and I'll be interacting with all kinds of breeds, and we'll have some people on from there. So anyway, I'm going to want to be social with the dogs. What's in dog language or in dog? How do we, like as an example, there's certain people, and it's funny. This guy said to me yesterday at the library. He said, I was telling him about you, Cherie. I said, well, you don't got to reward the dog with food. And his first response to me was, you don't know my dog. I go, we're going out, Frank. And Frank doesn't care we're going out. He's fine laying around. So I said, he said to me, if you didn't have food, there's no way the dog would come to the door. That was his response. And I said, well, the dog mystic has a different approach to it. So I guess two questions. One is we could address Matt's question, which is kind of what do you do if you're not using food motivation? And then two, I'm curious about finding the social connection as I interact with many dogs at this large dog event, as well as when I'm on the trail. So let's go to the reward question, because a lot of people think, well, the only way they have an advantage is food or kibble, whatever.
So instead of using food, then you're putting the leash on the dog and using the leash as their motivation. So you when the leash is on the dog, then you're in control. You have control when the leash is on. When the leash is off, they're in control. And if they don't want to do something, then they're looking at you like, no, you're not going to make me do it. And then that's when people do use the treats or the food to bribe them to get up and get moving. But when the leash is on, then you're in control.
Oh, God, I got a follow-up question on that. So the next question is, I'm just curious about your social honor or respect or, like I was walking with this I like the bulldog. He seemed obviously he's very bonded with his owner. And sometimes dogs are much more social. So what's in the dog world, how do you bridge the gap? Like when you walk into someone's house, you don't know, you haven't met their dogs before. What makes the rapport level so high? You kind of indicated a couple things before, but I figured revisit it.
Well, I mean, it's just walking in with confidence, walking in with. But I mean, it's also talking to the owner, because that's extremely important. I get all the details of the dog, so if the dog has any kind of aggression, then I just make sure that the owner has the dog on the leash. So when they open up the door, then the dog is not lunging towards me and trying to bite me. So, it's and even if the dog is reacting aggressively to me, then, I'm still being confident to show them that I'm not fearful of them. Like I'm respecting the fact that, yes, I'm walking into their home, and they have every right to protect, but I'm not going to be fearful of their reaction. And I mean, like, any time that a dog is extremely reactive and being aggressive, as long as the owner has the dog on the leash. Another thing that you can do is have the introduction be outside off the property, like, on the sidewalk or in the parking lot, instead of inside the home, because that's their home, like that's the dog's home, so they're doing their job in protecting. So by taking the dog off of their property and doing the introduction off the property, then it kind of eases their dominance.
Yeah.
All right, so Lisa is a veteran here. Lisa, you have 14 or 15 dogs right now? I know you're going to say 16, because now that I just said that. Oh, 14, okay. Yeah. So what's bubbling? What's Because you're interacting with your dogs all the time.
Wait, how many dogs? How many dogs do you have, Lisa?
14.
14. Okay.
Yeah, 14. Sometimes 15, but 14 right now. It's a revolving doorway in my home. Actually, 2 homes. So I have the dog split up between 2 houses. So, and then my partner has 6. So we have a lot of loving going on in the dog world for sure. I actually had a question for you, Cherie. Now, like when you go into people's homes or they're a first-time home dog owner and they have children, what are some of the distinctions or the things that you recommend or you start to work with when you're working with families rather than just, like a one-on-one situation or just a couple situation that doesn't have children? What do you find are some of the mystical nuances that you bring forth for a family?
Well, I mean, I used to be a teacher for kindergarten through 3rd grade. So,
so kids love you just as much.
Yeah. Yes, it was great. It was so rewarding. So, I mean, I just get to I speak to the kids just as much as the adults, and just speak in their language so they understand exactly what to do and get them incorporated. I mean, I've had 3-year-olds, 5-year-olds, 6-year-olds that are teaching them exactly how to use the leash or how to get the dogs from not jumping up on them, or teaching them certain things. And it's the beautiful thing about the dog training is every single client, every single household is totally different. So you never know exactly what to expect. It's not like it's not like your regular 9-to-5 job. You have no clue exactly what's going to happen.
Yeah, I was going to say sometimes when I'm walking the dogs, because I'll take, believe it or not, I'll take about 11 or 12 at a time, and it's quite an interesting adventure. But sometimes if we're at the park, there'll be a group of children and they'll see the dogs, and most of the time they're real respectful and they say, can we pet the dogs? All the dogs are friendly, but I do occasionally have the children come up to the dogs and then they just start screaming, which again stresses out the dogs and me a little bit. Do you have any suggestions?
Stay with us for that. Stay with us for that question about the children, the dogs. Lisa LaRose, Cherie Marquez, Dog Mystic, Vibrant Dogs. I'm Glenn Brooks. Stay with us. Sometimes adults do that too. They just come up to you and scream, and it's very unsettling. Stay with us. Be life precious. Enjoy it.
Feed your soul with Waves of Consciousness on OMTimes Radio.
Ascending Hearts is no ordinary dating site, but a spiritual dating site with a purpose, to link you with your soulmate. We engineer the serendipity so you can trust that you will attune with someone that has the same matching vibration as you. Ascending Hearts, the conscious dating site for the spiritually aware. Try Ascending Hearts for free. AscendingHearts.com.
I'm Kathy Williams, host of Sexy Mom Abundant Life radio show on Thursdays at 5 p.m. Eastern, 2 p.m. Pacific. On the show, we explore living abundantly in every area of your life. Ways to let go of limiting patterns and beliefs and to step into the flow of creativity and possibility, knowing you are supported by the universe.
Hi, we're the Goo Goo Dolls. We're fortunate that our daughters have what they need to grow and learn. But that isn't the case for nearly 13 million kids in the U.S. that struggle with hunger.
Childhood hunger is a heartbreaking reality that Feeding America is working to change. Each year, the Feeding America network of food banks rescues billions of pounds of good food that would have gone to waste and provides it to families and children in need.
You can help kids in need in your community by visiting feedingamerica.org.
Brought to you by Feeding America and the Ad Council.
You're listening to the Vibrant Living Network. I'm Glenn Brooks. We got the Vibrant Dog segment. I do want to plug Vibrant LA. Starting next week live from LA, we're working with Dr. Gail. Dr. Gail is pretty amazing. You guys are going to love her. I'll say a little bit more. Lisa just asked a really brilliant question about dogs and children, and Cherie, you were going to respond. Then we got the Google Dolls. Talk to us as we all know who they are. We don't. Okay, go ahead, Cherie.
Well, I mean, you were asking how do you stop the kids from, like, you know, coming and screaming and
in sort of unexpected situations like that.
Right. So I guess it's more or less, you can't stop them from reacting that way, but you can just put up your hand and even if you have to scream to them, like, stop, wait, you know, just to get them out of that zone. That's important, especially because they're freaking out the dogs. So it's more or less like, I guess just by, like, you know, putting up your hand and, like, stop screaming, please. And then once they stop, then you can explain to them, listen, like, you know, you have to walk over to the dogs calmly because I have so many, and by you walking, like, then you're more or less just explaining to them why you need them to stay calm. Why you need them to stay calm, and then explain to them also that if you are not calm and you come screaming over to this many dogs, you don't know the dogs. You don't know the dogs, and they can bite your legs, jump up on you, and bite you in certain spots, and then that's going to scare you from being a dog lover, you know. So, right. And of course, it's it's saying it in a child's way, so then they understand, and we don't like lose them in the process. But, right. You know, just by using your body stance and your body language, then it's stopping the kids. And it doesn't always happen perfectly.
Yeah. No, that's great. Thank you very much. I appreciate that. Do you do specific programs where you work with children, with groups of children with dogs, or just mostly in the homes?
Mostly in the homes. What I was actually given a fabulous suggestion about doing something with, like, a group of kids and, like, you know, just teaching them about dog training. I mean, like,
I think,
you know,
that would be wonderful. I'd love to see that. Yeah. I think that would be a great thing to develop into some of the retreats and the other speaking things that you're doing. I would come.
Yes.
I'm a big kid.
Awesome.
Glenn, once he gets his dreadlocks, then he'll be a big kid too. Right?
Yeah. I'm a big kid. I really don't quite get adults. I get more dogs than adults. So adults are still very puzzling because they could bite and be mean and scream, and it's more socially acceptable than if your dog screams or bites. You know, dogs are kind of given passes. So I really do appreciate that. You know, I think Ashley Montague talked about, you know, growing young is a way of life, and I think, God, the research on blood pressure in dogs is off the charts. Yesterday I met the main facilitator for a company called RestPass, and it's this guy lowered his blood pressure was off the charts, and it's a breathing device. You learn how to breathe, and it's wonderful. I'll be reporting on it. But interestingly enough, dogs change our respiration and our immune response, and And so as a mystic, you're dealing with these invisible things that are so profound and powerful. And with children, I do feel like, wow, they just have so much energy, and they sense the beautiful energy and wild energy in dogs, and they have no frame of reference. I agree with what Lisa said, Cherie, that you're doing programs to help kids because they feel the energy and they want to jump in and play. And I realize, based on many factors, that could be startling for the dog. You know what I mean? I'm going to guess that that's part of. Okay, I want to acknowledge. Next week we're doing our live segment from. I'm so excited to introduce you to Dr. Gail Randall, and she's going to be on because I talked to her about dogs and the healing influence of dogs, and we're going to get into soul doctoring, how to use your soul for doctoring purposes, and we're going to get into. Did you know that, I don't know, some crazy amount of people leave their healers, their doctor's office in shock. And shock underlies why people have immune challenges, right? So shock. So dogs, I want to get your comment, Cherie. Dogs actually free us from shock. They help us get in touch with this natural rhythm. And so on some level, the investment with working with Cherie goes back to you, because the more your dog's in tune, the more they could basically send out the dog medicine. I thought I said that well. How'd you like that, Cherie? What do you think? The more the dog's welcomed. Okay, I just want to get a gold star from the dog mystic today.
Good job. I liked it.
Okay, all right, cool. So the hidden, what is the hidden secret about your dog? What's the hidden secret when you go to people's homes, what's the one hidden thing that you want them to know about their dog that would change a lot of stuff, almost everything? What's the hidden secret? I love putting you on the spot. Don't mind it. People do this all the time, Cherie. All the time they put me on the spot. I'm putting you on the spot, and I realize probably when 2 hours from now you're like, oh my God, I could have said this, I could have said that. But there's something you're going to say that's going to be very influential and touch a lot of people.
So happy dogs equal happy owners. So if we're making the dogs happy by keeping calm, being assertive, following through on what we want them to do, then you'll be able to have a peaceful household and enjoy your dog to the fullest.
Okay, I have the funniest question of the day. At 1:50. Okay, we have the funniest question. Oh, here we go. So, because everybody's so at ease with their sexuality and intimacy, here it comes. So at the dog park, sometimes some of the people that have intact dogs, or I guess they haven't been fixed, and some of these people have very strong opinions and viewpoints about it. It's one of the things that's really interesting. And so they'll say to me, the dogs are jealous. So what's your take, just out of curiosity, if people ask you about that, what are you likely to say to people about the topic of having your dog fixed or spayed or, some people just say taken care of? What would you say?
I say that at first I was always saying that, all right, well, just listen to what your veterinarian what your veterinarian said. But then there was a very interesting video that Dr. Karen Becker, she's a veterinarian, and she posted. She's been a veterinarian for 15 years, and when she learned about when she got out of veterinary school, all her teachers were saying that spay and neuter the dogs at a very young age, for 4 to 6 months. But all of those puppies that she spayed had the same kind of not disease, but the same problems in the reproductive area when they by the time they were 10 to 15 years old. So it was a very interesting. I'll find the find the videos and then we can post it on the network so everybody can.
That'd be great.
Take a look
That'd
at
be
it.
amazing.
So
yeah.
Pretty much my suggestion to everybody now is it is up to you. It is your personal preference. My suggestion is let the dog mature. Let the dog mature and allow the reproduction and reproductive system to grow into the body before you take it away. So so instead of stay or neutering the dog at 4 to 6 months, then let them go. Let them go up to 8 months, 10 months. So there's more growth and more. So you're not stunting any kind of growth. But
I just that's so mirrors.
That's so wise.
It's everybody's personal preference, and it's also the veterinarian's focus on. No, you need to get the dog spayed and neutered right now. It's healthier for them. So it's everybody's preference. So
yeah, I had 2 rescues that were they're sisters, and the one had gone through a heat, and I got her spayed right after the heat, and I thought, well, I'll just get the other one spayed, and the one that I spayed without her having a heat, she always has weight issues now, and it's not a thyroid, it's not anything, and I regret not allowing her to go through that to allow her to mature. I mean, it was my lack of knowledge, so I really appreciate your inquiry. It's very valuable.
Yeah, we'll post that.
Thank you.
Thank you. It's interesting. No, I was just going to make give an immune system analogy to human beings. I'm around several people that have done a lot of research on immunizations, and what's sort of interesting is there's a lot of research and concern that if you now there's so many immunizations, so many vaccines. And the idea is, from a lot of people I think are incredibly wise, is very similar to wait. Don't bombard them so quickly. Let them gain a little immunity. Let them gain a little substance. So this is another interesting conversation you don't hear, but it's very much among some scientists, and certainly Dr. Robert Mendelsohn in his brilliant book, How to Raise Healthy Children in Spite of Your Doctor. He goes into it. And I think it's similar. It makes sense to me. I hadn't heard this before about age, but it would make sense that as they mature, they could deal with something differently than so young. They have such an invasive procedures. I would love to see. Was it Dr. Karen?
Dr. Karen Becker.
Okay.
Becker.
Okay.
Yeah. That's great.
I just thought that was interesting. That it's somewhat similar.
Yeah, Cherie. I was going to say give out your website, please.
Sure, it's smartpawsdogtraining.com. And in regards to certain things that we need to, we really need to just see that a dog's body and their immune system and their reproductive system is a lot like a human body, So we wouldn't do something to a female body and before their menstrual cycle is just natural. It's a natural process.
Right.
So even though a person doesn't want to deal with the dog going into heat and bleeding, it's a natural process. So it should be allowed to go through that process, go through that maturity before it's taken away from the human's perspective.
Yes. So in other words, we're kind of imposing our processed food mentality a little bit on the dog.
Yes.
Cherie, give out your website one more time, and for consultations and tips, Cherie Marquez, our resident dog mystic here on Vibrant Dogs. I'm Glenn Brooks. Go ahead one more time, Cherie. This way people they've gone, they pulled over their cars, If they parachuted, they're on the ground now. They could write this down.
Perfect. So smartpawsdogtraining.com 954-816-9070. Smart Paws.
One more time, Cherie. Just give out the number one more time. I love calling you, and I want people to call you too. You're a lot of fun to speak to. I want to say that to people. Cherie gives good dog conversations. Yeah.
954-816-9070. Thank you.
Now, you're welcome. I got all my listeners in the Boca Raton South. What do they call it? The South Florida Marketplace. We got Fort Lauderdale. We got was it South Miami Beach? What's the area? The Del Rey.
Southeast.
We had a very
Southeast Miami.
Okay.
Southeast,
Yeah.
Southeast Florida. So from
we had so many listeners.
Miami to Boynton Beach and above.
All right. What I want to do is I want to introduce you to Laura London. Laura London used to come to studio in Boca and take pictures in our studio there as we broadcast. We had the second most popular show actually in Boca. That one-of-a-kind station. I don't know if it's still there. It was the largest health talk station in Florida. And we came in and we did a different show and celebrating you, Cherie Marquez, Dog Mystic, and Lisa LaRose and Janet Carafa from our new Kauai Vibrant Living. So next week we got a great show. We got Cherie on again. We're opening up LA, California. And Gail Randall, she's going to blow your mind. Your life's precious. Enjoy it, and thank you deeply. And please, Chris, and all the wonderful people at our proprietary partner, OMTimes Radio. I'm Glenn Brooks. Thank you.
Thank you. Have a great week.
Bye-bye.